Let's get this thing going. It is 5:30. We're having two-a-days, and that means you are here with me, Michael Bumpus. Welcome to two-a-days, brought to you by Alaska Airlines, as usual. Our trusty sponsors, always hooking us up, looking out for us. And man, we're knee-deep in camp. I mean, no one's fresh anymore. All right, guys are dinged up a little bit. You know, they're not hitting each other. They're taking care of each other, but guys are starting to feel like they're in camp again. You know, the first couple of days is kind of just, all right, let's get you guys going. And it's the ramp up, right? There's no OTAs, no mini camp. So this is all they have really to evaluate players and get these guys going. And like always, I'm going to start off with my observations. I have the opportunity to see these guys play, see them practice, see what they do. So I'm going to give you my three observations. My first observation, Cedric Ogbuehi. He is the tackle that the Seahawks got from the Jacksonville Jaguars. This guy is looking good. One-on-ones, he's throwing guys around. He looks extremely strong. And that's what you want. I looked at his scouting report coming out of college, and that was the knock on him, was that he could be a little more aggressive. He can get a little more stronger and fill out that frame. And I feel like he's done that. This is a guy who knows what he's doing as well. Had 25 starts with the Bengals. 25 starts. So he's been in the trenches. He's been in the game. He knows what to expect. The best thing I like about this guy is that he only has 7 penalties last year. The guy that he is replacing, Jermaine Ifedi, had about 13, 14 penalties last year. So we're almost slicing that in half, and that is always a positive. Penalties are drive killers. Russell Wilson could be cooking, going to work. Boom, you get a penalty. It changes the momentum, changes the identity of a game. So I like that. And he looks strong, like I mentioned. He's going to back up Dwayne Brown, but on the right side, but he's capable of playing both sides. Okay, capable of playing, the left side. Dwayne Brown's on the left side. He's capable of playing both sides, and that's what you need. You need to be versatile as an offensive lineman in this offense. You look at the offensive line last year, guys were moving around, switching around. You don't really know where you're going to be. You have a spot, but if someone goes down, you have to be able to step in and step up to the plate. And this guy's going to be able to do it. If you don't see him during the season, that just means that offensive line is executing at a high level and everyone is healthy. So it's nice to see him practicing hard, performing at a high level in camp, but the end goal is hopefully we don't have to see this guy. I love to see him on the sideline. What's up, Ben Day 91? I love to see him on the sideline, just hanging out, being ready to go just in case. But when you're backing up a guy like Dwayne Brown, 34 years old, been in the league 13, 14 years, there might be weeks where he needs to take off. Last year, I believe he missed a couple of weeks, had a bicep or something like that. That's just the nature of the game. And as you get older, you got to take care of yourself. Like today, Dwayne Brown didn't practice much today. I believe he went through the warm-ups, a couple individuals, and then he sat down. He sat down because, one, he's been there, he's done that, he's experienced. He doesn't really need these reps. And two, it gives these coaches a chance to evaluate guys like, I don't want to mess up his name, Ogbuehi. All right, guys like Ogbuehi. So that's one of my observations, is that he looks good. He looks good to go. If need be, if Brown goes down, knock on wood, okay, if Shell goes down, who he's really competing with or going to back up, knock on wood, he should be ready to go. Okay, my second observation, Quentin Dunbar is slowly getting going, okay? Pete Carroll said they were going to ease him into this thing, which I think is the right move. He missed the first few days of camp. You don't just want to throw him into the fire. And Trey Flowers has earned the right to at least be in the mix. I think that it's Trey Flowers' spot to lose. I think Quentin Dunbar is going to eventually take over that spot. That's why you bring a guy like him over here. But they're easing him in. And I went back and I watched some film on Quentin Dunbar. Last year he had 4 interceptions. That would have led this team. 4 interceptions. 57 targets. He only allowed 17 first down, which makes him top 10 in the league when it comes to that stat. Also, out of 347 coverage snaps, he only allowed 2 touchdowns. Now, this guy knows how to grind. He was an undrafted free agent, and he has catapulted himself as one of the best corners in the league. At one point, Pro Football Focus had him ranked as the number 2 corner in the league. Going into this year, PFN, I'm not sure who those guys are, but I looked them up. They have him ranked as the number 14th corner coming in. So now you pair him up with Shaquille Griffin, it's looking good. All right, it's looking good. I like what Dunbar brings to the table. He reminds me of Richard Sherman when it comes to his measurables. Not saying he's going to be Richard Sherman, but he's long. He has reach. That's the body type that these guys look for. He also played receiver, so he's familiar with route combination. There was this route combination I watched just recently. I believe they were playing the New York Giants. Quentin Dunbar is on the outside. It's a one high look. Looks like a cover 3, which is pretty much what the Seahawks love to run. The outside guy, the guy he's over, runs a go. The inside guy runs an out. Okay, he reads that combination, reads the quarterback's eyes, and abandons the go, jumps on the out, gets a pick. Those are the type of things that are going to make him special because he's used to seeing these route combinations. He knows if the number 1 receiver is going straight up the field, number 2 has to be doing something underneath. If he doesn't do something underneath, he's going straight up the field. He's going to pass him over to the safety. Those little things are what allow these guys to play really fast. And I saw that on film when I looked at Quentin Dunbar. I saw just a savvy guy. So now he's in camp, getting brought along slowly, but he's going to be good for him. Third observation, the defense is getting it done. The defense is ahead of the offense right now. And typically that's how it is. The defense is going to be ahead of the offense. But the defense is looking good, man. Jamal Adams had a sack today. He had a pick 6 the other day. Shaquille Griffin is staying on top of things. DK did beat him once or twice, but what do you expect? That's DK Metcalf. He's a big body. He goes up top. But the defense is playing really fast right now. Jordan Brooks was back in practice today. He had a groin injury, not even an injury. He's just dinged up a little bit. And that's what I like about it. It's unfortunate that they didn't have the mini camps and OTAs or whatnot. But because of that, they're being extremely careful with these guys. If you feel anything, you go and talk to coach, talk to the trainers. If you are expected to be a contributor on this football team, they're going to sit you down. Now, that hurts the young guys, right? Say an undrafted free agent gets hurt. He gets dinged up a little bit. He's got to suck it up. This is all he has to impress these coaches. So it benefits one side. It hurts the other side, but that's the nature of the beast. You can't make the ball club. Who told me this? Bruce DeHaven was the special teams coach when I was with the Seahawks. And he told me, he goes, son, you can't make the ball club on the training table. And I had a couple injuries and I just sucked it up. So that's what those guys are going to have to do. Unless it's a major injury, you just have to suck it up, take it on the chin and go. Take it on the chin and go. Now, with the defense being ahead of the offense, I think that's more beneficial than the offense being ahead of the defense. If the offense was, think about the offense. There's so many things that you have to control with the offense. The linemen, communication on what the box is. Is it a 43? Is it a 34? Who's in what shade? Where's the mic? What's the adjustment on this pass protection? Receivers and quarterbacks, they got to find the rhythm, get on the same page. How does this guy get out of this break? The running back, can Russell Wilson trust the running back to pick up this blitzing Sam or this blitzing Will? Like, let's think about it. There are so many things that have to go right for an offense to be successful. Whereas on defense, it's kind of like, look, okay, here's your gap. Secondary, here's your assignment. You got deep third, you got deep third. Backers, you have the flats here. Now go and be special. Now go and be special. So typically, you're going to see the defense perform better than the offense. And I want to see that go because I know when it's time to go, Russell Wilson and those boys are going to get it done. What hurt this team last year was the defense. So you want them to be ahead. You want Jamal Adams to make plays. You want Jordan Brooks to look good in space, which he has looked. You want Benson Mayowa to put pressure on these tackles, on Brandon Shell and on Dwayne Brown. All right, you want these guys to be playing at a high level. So when it comes down to it, they are ready to go. Okay, so those are my observations. We got Cedric Ogbuehi, looks good. Looks good. Hopefully the Hawks don't have to see him during the regular season because that means somebody's hurt if you do see him. But just in case you have to break the glass, this guy's looking good. Quentin Dunbar getting eased into the situation, eased in. He's not worried about the off-field stuff. He's ready to go. And the defense is playing at an extremely high level. They are playing fast and they are playing with swag. All right, so now here's the fun part. What y'all got for me? What do you have for me? Let's see. Let me roll. How does Bruce look? Bruce Irvin looks good. He looks good. He made a play the other day where he was on, say, the left side of the formation. There was a stretch play. That's a running play. The offense ran to the opposite side, and he ran that running back down. At 31, 32 years old, he still looks like an extremely athletic player. I was on Q13 earlier today, and Michelle Lutka, who's our eyes and ears out there, said that he jumped over one of the dummy bags. This guy's good to go. And you hear Pete Carroll talk about him. He goes, look, he tried to get him back a couple of times during his absence from Seattle, but it just didn't work out, and he's happy to have him back now. He said he's matured, he's grown. His first year with the Hawks, he had 8 sacks. Last year, he had 8.5 sacks. All right, that's 7-8 years in between, and he's still playing at a high level. Next question. Ethan Posick, is he looking good or is Finney looking bad? I think Posick is looking good. I think Finney is looking good. Right now, Posick gets the majority of the reps with the ones, and I think that's natural. He's been here. He knows the system. He has a relationship with Russell Wilson, but that spot isn't solidified yet. And honestly, I hope they figure it out earlier than later, because there's a lot of chemistry that goes along there, right? The center has to realize how Russell's cadence are, what the snap is. Can Russell trust this guy to communicate with the offensive line? But it's a battle. There's no clear-cut leader with that. I would say that Posick is getting the majority of the reps, maybe 40, 60, when it comes to percentage-wise, but it is definitely a battle. Next question. This is from Breads. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Breads, who do you think the Hawks will extend first this season? Who will they extend? I don't know. That's a good question. I would like to say Shaquille Griffin. I'd like to see that there. If he comes out hot, he's going, he's balling, he's playing at a high level. Why not secure that defense? He didn't have a lot of picks last year. That was his one knock, was that he didn't cause a lot of turnovers. But that doesn't mean that you're not a good corner. Okay? That doesn't mean you're not a good corner. It's nice to get these turnovers. But I spoke to Paul Moyer, my guy. He's my DB guy. And he says, look, all he needs to do is lock down the side. A pick or two would be nice. But if he has a low completion percentage against him, he's doing his job. That's what corners does. All right, next question. Who we got? We got Flores. How does Carson look? Carson looks good. Now, they're not allowing him to do everything at a super high level, right? You want to make sure that he's good to go. He's proven. He doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. The guy's rushed for 1,000 yards 2 seasons in a row. He's fine. Now it's just about making sure his body is responding correctly, right? He's in constant communication with the trainers. He's in constant communication with the coaches. Communication is key. There's no reason for him to try to tough this thing out, to try to be that rookie who's trying to make the team and is going to suck this injury up. No, not at all, 32. 32. If you're feeling anything, 32. Go sit down, 32. All right, get these mental reps, 32. You still got these young guys. You still got DJ Dallas who can get reps. You still got Carlos Hyde who can get reps, okay? Let these young guys go to work. We know what you can do. 2,300 yards over the last 2 years, one of the most productive backs in the NFL, was 5th in the league when it came to rushing last year. We know what you can do, Carson. No reason to push it. I would say Carson looks good. For what they're allowing him to do, Carson looks good. Okay, next question. Let me see. Are they using, this is from Biggerhead Joe, are they using Adams differently than Cam? Yes and no. They're not going to do too many things different right now, right? Because the thing with Jamal is he's got to learn the base, right? The coaches have to feel really comfortable. No problem, Flores. Coaches have to feel really comfortable with him in their base defense, which is just that cover 3, which he's going to get. But they have walked him up in the box. They have blitzed him. They're getting aggressive with him in the red zone. And that's really what I want to see. I want to see them get aggressive with Adams everywhere on the field. Everywhere. Okay? But they are going to let him or make him go out in the coverage and roam. And I think that's what you do with wolves, right? Let the wolf roam. Let him roam and then get aggressive and send him. Okay? And I think we'll see more of that as the season progresses. Okay, so right now I see a lot of similarities, but I also see them walking him down into the box probably a bit more than they did with Cam Chancellor. All right, next question is this is from Ryan. Ryan, is the tight end group as good as advertised? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. You got to think about who's leading this group. Greg Olsen, 3-time Pro Bowler, been to the Super Bowl. Doesn't look slow, doesn't look fast, somewhere in the middle. But as a tight end, how many tight ends do you expect just to run by guys? The last tight end I saw who can just run by guys was Vernon Davis, and we all saw what Cam Chancellor did to Vernon Davis, all right? Vernon Davis ran a 4.3 coming out. So Greg Olsen's leading the way because he's crafty, he's shifty, he understands what he's doing. And then it's Will Disley. Uncle Will, I still think Uncle Will, if he's healthy, will have a better year than Greg Olsen. Okay, maybe slightly, call me crazy, but he looks good. Initially, I saw him kind of, again, this is the term we're going to use constantly, right? Ramping up. I saw him ramping up, taking his time. The past couple practices, he's going now. He's going. He's putting his foot in the ground. He's going that way. He's putting his foot in the ground. He's going that way. That's how you know when a guy is confident. When you're running routes and you see guys tiptoe into their break, they don't drop the hips. It doesn't look violent. They don't trust their body. That's what I saw the first couple of days of Will Disley, but now I see him getting out there, dropping those hips, driving his feet, whipping the hips, and getting out of there. That shows me that he's confident and he's ready to go. Okay, who else do we have in that group? You got Jacob Hollister, who's your tweener. He's your pass catcher. He did block for these guys last year, came in late off the practice squad and produced, but he's probably their third or fourth guy right now. He looks solid. You know, he's the pass catcher. Honestly, you can line him up in the slot as a receiver, and he'd be just fine. Who else we got? We got Luke Wilson. He's your blocker. Okay, he had 10 targets last year. He caught 8 of those things, and 5 of them were for for first downs. Okay, so he's your blocking guy, but he shows like, look, if we need to play action, you need to get me out into the flat, I can do that. And as tight ends, you have to be versatile like that. You can't just be a blocker. You can't just be a pass catcher. You can be really good at one thing, really good at the other thing, but the tight ends are the Swiss Army knife on the team. They do a little bit of everything. They're the only guys who I know who are in pass protection, who can go out and catch a football, who will catch a screen. They do just about everything but throw the ball. Okay, so that room's looking good. And don't forget when Colby Parkinson gets in there, which I mentioned yesterday, somebody reminded me of him. I think they're going to look good. They brought him in to catch the football. All right, next question. Ben Day 91, where would you rank our secondary compared to last season's? All right, you got what time last year? Because remember, at one point there was Tedrick. Tedrick was out there. The last 5 weeks of the season, Quandre comes in and kind of just gets the secondary going. So if we're talking prior to Quandre getting in there, they're light years ahead. Light years. Now, after Quandre gets there, now we still haven't seen a full day of Quentin Dunbar yet. This is just with Trey and Shaq and the normal safeties and Jamal and Diggs. They're just better. I can't put a number on it. I can't give it a name. I would just say, yeah, I can't put a name. They're just fast. They're confident. Trey Flowers is confident. I know people knock Trey Flowers. I know this, but this secondary is playing at a high level, and that's without Quentin Dunbar really being in the mix. So that gets me excited. I love it. I would say if last year's secondary was a 5, these guys are 8 right now. And that's early. There's still 24 more days until these guys really strap it up in a game and get going. So I would only expect these guys to look better and better as the season goes along. All right, next question. Let me go back to some of the first questions. Let me see. Who is going to be the punt returner this year? I like that question. That's a good question. The guys I'm looking at right now are DJ Dallas, I'm looking at Freddie Swain, and I'm looking at David Moore. I'd say David Moore right now has the edge because he's done it before. He's shown throughout the year that he can catch a punt. And a punt is a tough thing to do. I know these guys make it look all easy, make it look sweet, but a punt is one of the toughest things to do. I always compare this, okay, you 80s, 90s babies, okay? I always compare this to The Lion King. You know the Stampede? When Simba's in the valley, he's looking for his dad, with a stampede coming at him. That's what a punt return is. Now you got a stampede coming at you, and you're looking up and down for the football. So possession is key when it comes to punt returns. A lot of the times, coaches will put a guy back there who they know is going to catch the football. Forget about the yards after the catch or making plays. They just want possession. Losing the ball on a punt is demoralizing sometimes. You know how I know? Because I did it. I dropped the ball when I was with the Hawks against the Rams. Dropped it. Put our defense on the 10. Thankfully, they held for us and held them to a field goal, and we still won that game. But catching a punt is a tough thing. So it's all about possession. They're going to put a guy back there who they know is going to catch that ball 99% of the time. Right now, I would say that's David Moore, but I feel like DJ Dallas and Freddie Swain are going to get a crack at that as well. Okay? Couple more questions. Let me see. Let me go back. Let me get some of these early ones. How's Carlos Hyde looking? Ramon Henriquez. How's Carlos Hyde looking? He's looking good. He looks like Carlos Hyde. He looks like a guy who can take over if he needs to. He looks like a guy who's been in the league 7 years, who rushed for 1,000 yards last year. He looks strong. He looks shifty. He looks like he understands what the line is doing in front of him. I think that's most of the time that's the issue is, do they understand what the offensive line is trying to execute in a zone concept? Is he going to press that B gap and wait for that guard to go up for the double team? In a trap concept, is he going to wait for that guard, that tackle to wrap around? In a power concept, is he going to be patient enough to let that lead blocker wipe around that line and boom, kick out that outside linebacker? It's all about understanding what the scheme is and then understanding the personnel in front of you, knowing, okay, it's going to take me 2 or 3 steps before Dwayne Brown pulls on this tackle. It's going to take me half a step before I can get Damian Lewis up to that second level. So it's all chemistry. Just like people talk about quarterbacks and receivers having chemistry, running backs and linemen have to have chemistry as well. Got to have chemistry. All right, couple more questions. Who is the fastest receiver on the team? Pete Carroll said it today. You go to Seahawks.com, you'll see it. Pete Carroll said Philip Dorsett is the fastest receiver he's had in Seattle. And that kind of surprised me. I had to go back in my memory. I'm like, all right, what other receivers? Who's really fast? I mean, DK's fast, 4.34. Before they had Percy Harvin, who was fast. Doug Baldwin was quick. Jermaine Kearse wasn't too fast. Golden Tate wasn't fast. He was quick. So I'd have to agree with him. It's Philip Dorsett. He is the fastest player on this offense right now. I wonder who would challenge him on defense. It has to be Shaquille Griffin, right? Shaquille Griffin will probably be the only one who can really challenge him on defense. All right. Let's look at a couple more. Who we got? Let me go back up to some of the early questions. Here, Bruce. Let's see. Do you think Trey would ever get moved back to safety? Good question. So who's at the safety spots right now? Let me look up this depth chart so I don't miss anybody. You got Quandre. You got Jamal Adams. You got Ugo Amadi. You got Blair. Right now, Blair and Ugo are competing at that nickel spot. So I think that Trey will probably get reps at safety, but his focus will be corner. If one of those two guys, knock on wood, Quandre Diggs or Jamal Adams were to go down, you have Blair and you have Ugo Amadi, who've been getting reps there for the past year and a half. So naturally, you would think that they would put those guys in that situation. So I think Trey should stay at that corner spot, because if any corner goes down, it could be the left or the right, he's probably the first guy up. So I can see that happening in a worst case scenario. A bunch of guys go down. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I can see that situation. I can see it. But I think it's going to take a lot for that to really happen. So I would say Trey is going to be at the corner spot. Left or right. Left or right, doesn't matter. All right, one more question. Let me see if we got any new ones. One more question. Bear with me. Appreciate you guys coming on, man. Let me see. Who we got? I returned 3 punts in high school and said, screw that, it's terrifying. Right, Chris? I made a living. I didn't realize how crazy punt returns were until I was done playing. Then I'm like, yeah, you got to have a couple screws loose. But hey, check me out. Washington State University still hold those records for punt returns. You know, just self-plug right there. Who's the bigger hitter, Adams or Diggs? I'm just going to go with Adams because he's bigger. I mean, I think Diggs possesses the intensity and the want to go out and boom, knock a dude out. But hey, physics is physics. Science is science. If I'm bigger and I'm fast and I hit somebody, I'm going to generate more force to hopefully cause a fumble. So just off of their size alone, I got to go with Jamal Adams. I think Quandre ain't no punt. He's going to get in there, and we've seen that. He's going to come downhill and try to hit some dudes. But, hey, body types are body types. You got to go with Jamal Adams. Hey, hello from Brazil. What's up? Or hello to Brazil. What's up, Brazil? How y'all doing? All right, man, that's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you guys joining, man. We're getting more and more momentum every single show. Appreciate you guys. This is 2 Days with Michael Bumpus, brought to you by Alaska Airlines. Hey, I will see you tomorrow. Let's finish the week off right. Tomorrow's Friday. Let's get it. Love y'all. Holla at me on Instagram, IG, Twitter, Michael Bumpus 5. I got you. Have a good day, guys.